So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZW Games 5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below.
What's a YouTube? Dow here from ZW Games. And yes, even I'm laughing at it. As you can hear from my voice, I am a little bit under the weather. Both with a great weekend away with my work lot, but also a little bit of a cold that I've managed to pick up as well. However, that would not stop me bringing you updates to the Generaider deck profile. So Generaider's got a brand new card for its own art type in this card right here, and it banishes one card on the field. They also got an indirect support draw card, which has been allowed me to make this a budget version for you guys as well. I will explain as I go through it what you could take out if you do own the cards, such as IP Masquerina, the Blackluster Soldier, Link Monster, and of course Pot of Extravagance. But this build is more designed to slowing the game down a little bit and controlling it a lot more. The Extravagance build, again, has the better balance of control and aggression as well, whereas this deck does provide aggression, but it's also more about maintaining for the longer game should you need it to as well. So without further ado, I'm going to take you through the profile and show you exactly what we've got. So we do play two YUGIOH. This is the brand new card that came out in Ignition Assault. It's such a good card as well. I'm glad it is only a super. Part of me's like, I wish it was a secret to go with the rest, and then part of me's happy it's not, because otherwise it would have been a pain in the ass to get hold of. So it is a 2700 defender and a 2200 attacker. You can only control one of it, which is the exact same as all of the other boss monsters. Quick effect, you tribute 2 Generaider monsters and or rock monsters. Target one card on the field and then banish it, so it's non-destruction removal. And the best thing about this card is it actually gives the deck its own core way of dealing with back row hate as well, whereas Frody only dealt with monsters, so that caused a bit of an issue, and it gave them an additional plus with draw. Double-Winded Hog, this is your basic summon judgment of the deck. It is a win effect, that is the only disappointing thing with it, but it is still a very, very powerful card. Now, the way this deck is going to work, or the way that you're supposed to be playing this deck, is you either get to your Boss of Iron and bring out more Generators from your hand, or you get to your Zombie and bring more back from the grave. We do play 2 Mardell. Now, the only reason we're playing 2 Mardell is because it is the only one that we can technically get to via a normal summon. When we get the brand new cards in Eternity Code, which is another new level 9 boss monster, and our first official Generaider main deck monster that can be normal summoned without requiring tributes, of course, then Mardell will go down to 1 and we'll get rid of the Lone Fire engine altogether. But right now, the Lone Fire is the route to go. We then play Double Heller. Now, the reason we're playing so many multiples of level 9s is all of the ones I've just shown you are all very relevant. Even if you can only control one of them, you'll be using them as either discard fodder for the new draw card, or discard fodder or return to the deck fodder for the spell card that lets you search out to the boss quest. These can all come down in numbers when we get the new support, and if you're going to be playing more aggression, you can start swapping some of these out, reducing the numbers of them, putting stuff like Ash Blossoms, your Extravagances, stuff like that to disrupt your opponent a little bit more. The design on this deck, like I said, is budget. You can go pick this deck up tomorrow for like 50 quid, if not less, including the extra deck as well. I think the only thing that was costly were the field spells, and they were 10 quid when I picked them up, and I believe Joe ended up picking up like a playset for a tenner. So depending on where you get them from, you can get them very, very cheaply. Now, for the one-offs, we're just going to part the C there. There we go. We do play the one Boss of Iron. Now, this one, because it is more about the hand, you have to be able to build up your level 9s in hand, and that's obviously a bad sign because you don't want to be bricking on your level 9s. So getting your Boss of Iron is just a route from the deck to unbrick your hand. Now that then brings down obviously your Frody, your Castle, your Heller, anything that can then allow you to abuse the tokens or the other versions of themselves to start tributing them off and bringing them back from grave. Then for the other one, we've got the Nafglir. This is the one that just protects everything by destruction. So the best thing about this is it actually lets you protect your field spell should it be destroyed by battle or card effect. And if any of your back row would be destroyed as well, you can protect it. It is your biggest boss monster as well, sitting at 31. So the castle is nice to get past banished stuff. but sometimes if your opponent has 2 cards that are 3k or more, you can only use the castle once to banish it, and then you're going to need to use this card to get over it unless you're going into your XYZs. Then of course we've got the one Frody. We're still keeping this in here because if you were to combo this off with the castle, so the way this is worked is you would do the castle first to tribute 2 tokens to banish a card. Then at a certain point, like maybe in the end phase when the hand is not going to be of any relevance to you, you use Frody's effect to tribute 2, or the castle and 1 token, to then pop 2 cards your opponent controls. Yes, they get to draw cards, but it really depends on advantage. Frody will probably be one that will be sacrificed completely when we get the new cards in Eternity Code. The last level 9 is the Nightmare Incarnation Idli. Now again, this is a card you can cut, entirely up to you, but this is one of the cards I like bringing off of the Monstrosity, purely because it has 2 effects. Now, if you go second and your opponent fields the board with link monsters looking at spirals, you can actually drop this on there and you send all of them link monsters to the graveyard. You also get to do that when this card is special summoned as well. So whether you special summon it from Monstrosity from your hand, or if you special summon it from the deck with Monstrosity. That being said, it also then protects your other level 9s from being destroyed by card effects. So if you wanted to, you could go into a topological Bomber Dragon and then trigger the Bomber's effect to destroy everything, and I believe Idli will then protect it. Plus, it also protects the level 9s from being destroyed by card effect that are special summoned off of Monstrosity. So there's more reasons to play Idli. Now, Monstrosity can be very, very defensive going second as well. So take the example of the Frody play into the castle play that I explained to you. So you do castle, get rid of your 2 of 3 tokens. That will then banish a card. Then you could use your Frody to get rid of the last token and the castle to pop 2 cards your opponent controls. If you have a Monstrosity set, activate Monstrosity, target your Frody, special summon out an Idel, a Hela, and then any other generated monster, probably your Nidhogg. Nidhogg can then tribute Frody to stop to Judgment a summon, should you need it. And then Hela can revive in the end phase anything else by getting rid of either Nidhogg now that it's used as effect, and it just allows you to switch quite quickly between your opponent's turn from defensive plays to offensive plays. And like I said, if you Monstrosity into an Incantation Idli when your opponent tries to fill their board with link monsters, or if they require the link monsters to extend, you just go Idli, send all of them. Like, it just clears their board off completely. On to the only normal summon monster in the deck that doesn't require tribute, Tribute Lonefire. Now this can suck if it gets ashed or called by the grave, but it's a risk you're willing to take, because if this baits out a ash, then of course your field spell is going to be incredibly important and powerful going forward. Talking of hand traps, we don't like our field spell being hand trapped, or whether it be ogred, ashed. DD, Chrome and Droll aren't the end of the world for this deck, so we wouldn't worry about those. But because we don't like that, we want to be playing triple Called by the Grave. Triple Super Poly, the most powerful card, or powerful spell card in my opinion, that can help you break boards both going first and second. So again, the only issue with this deck where Extravagance helps it a little bit better is Extravagance is a +1, and you're not losing anything from your main deck, you're losing it from your extra deck. Whereas the Karakuri spell actually makes you lose 1 from your hand, so it just replaces itself and the card you discard. So you don't actually gain any advantage to discard in order to extend your plays further. But Super Poly is incredibly powerful. Again, take the example I just mentioned to you. If your opponent is able to get through an Idli play, a Frody play, a Castle play, and then you smack them with a Super Poly, like, they're not coming back from that. They're seriously going to struggle. So Super Poly, should you lose the dice roll, gives you a way to fight back as well. Then an insanely cool card. If this wasn't a field spell, it would probably end up getting banned. Oh, well, maybe a continuous spell might suck a little bit more. But like, if this was just like a normal spell or something that offered a bit more protection, this card's insane. The fact it goes off in your opponent's draw phase as well means they've got very little, like, they can't play around it. They can't not add. Now, each copy is a soft once per turn. So if you were to hit them with a Generaider boss fight, which is a metaverse and plays this from the deck. So let's say your opponent starts their turn with this, you trigger the effect to summon out one of your generation deck. Now, the token spawn is a hard once per turn, but if you play it smartly, what you can do is you use this, bring out a Generaider monster without clogging up your zones, or if you're Generaider monster, you can use the effect tribute off a token and then go from there. But what you can do, field spell, bring out a Generaider, don't use the token effect. Activate Boss Room. Boss Room replaces this, then lets your opponent draw one. They will then draw a card, you trigger boss stage again, giving you another Generaider monster from your deck, and then fill up the remaining 3 spaces with your token. So that is how you can go into a castle and a Nidhogg play, or you can go into a castle and a Frody play with 3 tokens. Now, Frody can, of course, pop 1 token if you wanted to, or 2. So you're looking at popping anywhere between 3 to 4 cards to get the castle effect off and the Frody effect off as well. Not to mention, if you went with your Nidhogg, then if you go Nidhogg and your castle, you've got a castle banish, you've got a Nidhogg negate of a summon, and then you've used up all 3 of your tokens. So very, very kind of cool interaction with this deck and the field spell specifically. Triple Generaider Boss Quest, love this card. Search this off of Mardell and then put back any of your level 9 bricks that you don't want in your hand into the deck, and then search out 2 spells or traps that list generates. So 9 out of 10, what I'm searching for, if I haven't got it already, is the 1 Boss Room, really like this card, and the 1 field spell. If you already have the field spell, then you can go for the boss fight, and that is how you start that combo off. Alternatively, if you do want to play the other spell card, that means your opponent can't target your monsters for attacks except your tokens, you can do. It gives you a bit more protection, but it becomes more relevant when we get the new cards in Eternity Code. Then on to Triple Monstrosity, quite straightforward and simple on this one. This is your power play card. Being able to special summon 2 level 9s from your deck is insane. And like I said, if you special summon out the right monsters, you are going to seriously cause your opponent issues. You just got to remember they can't attack and they will get destroyed during the end phase, but the chances are, if you bring out an id, they're not getting destroyed. And then if you link them off or overlay them, again, they're not getting destroyed, so you don't need to worry about it. Then 2 of the brand new spell card, 2 Kaiju Kiri, I don't know why I called it Karakuri earlier, Kaiju Kiri Curse, so you tribute 1, send 1 level 9 monster from your hand or face up from your field to the graveyard, draw 2 cards. These are hard ones per turn. I don't have a third, I'm not too sure I would play a third if I had it. The other draw cards that I'm playing to make up for that third missing one is your Dark World Dealings, which is very, very good because during your turn, if you've got the field spell and you want to be a bit more aggressive, you activate Dark World Dealings and that forces your field spell to go through. And then that way you get to extend your plays a little bit further. That's the part of the combo that lets you end on a VFD. Otherwise, if you're going second, it is part of the combo that allows you to flood more level 9s to the board and push further forward. Pot of Avarice. Again, because we're not playing Extravagance, we want a bit more draw cards. And the best thing about this, like I said, where it's with the grind game, is because you are sending your level 9s to the graveyard with this, you are filling up your graveyard quite a bit. So what you can do is you can then use like Pot of Extravagance to recycle it. In the past, I did find myself, before this, even with the Extravagance, during a grind game, I would lose all my resources to the graveyard. It's rare that you're banishing these cards, so being able to Avarice them back and draw 2 can sometimes be good. The only issue is if you draw 2 level 9s, you're like, bro, I'm not doing anything with these, great. But it does allow you to recycle your monsters, and when you put your hand traps back in there as well, it can be very, very helpful. Finishing off the spells on 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Terraforming, all quite straightforward on that. And then for the trap cards, we've got 2 boss fights, and the 1 boss room. You can put this at 3 if you want. I don't really want to be resolving this more than once, and like I said, it is one of the first cards you search off of quest as well, so I don't personally see the necessity of having it at 3. There's been very few times where I've actually gone, damn, I need a third one of these. It's good because it does play it from the graveyard as well, but again, you shouldn't be going through all 3 of your field spells. You should be able to kill the game off before then. And then the final trait we play is the one World Legacy Awakens. This is awesome because it lets you link during your opponent's turn. Now sometimes your tokens can be completely useless, and being only 1500, they are a very, very big Achilles heel for your opponent's boss monsters. So like if they got into a Borrow Sword, that's pretty much game there, taking out your tokens. So with World Legacy Awakens, you can use this, and this is another alternative to IP. Now ideally you could use this to go to IP, and then IP can use the tokens or another level 9, and that will get you into an indestructible BLS link, or of course this can go into other cards. Now the cards that I like going into it with, and if you do use your IP as well, you can abuse it. You go into this guy here, and you can also go into this guy here. Now obviously IP is very, very useful. and the tokens aren't going to be level 5 or higher. It's just a way that you can use your World Legacy Awakens to link climb during your opponent's turn and disrupt them massively. If you do play IP, and again this can come out, but it's still very, very good to be able to use the tokens at their most useful moments, because they do get destroyed during the end phase, which some people do kind of forget. And you can use the Wonder XYZ, but I just feel that the World Legacy Awakens is better because you can use and abuse the tokens a lot more. Oh, I'm getting there. Sorry guys, I do apologise. I wanted to get this video out for you and the voice is killing me, but I wanted to do it. So for the rank 9s, we played 2 True King of All Calamities. This is your shutdown neutralising play. The deck can go for it's not the only play it goes for. So it does give you a bit of versatility when you're going through the extra deck and when you're making your plays, that you're actually sometimes better off setting up a castle Frody play than you are setting up a VFD play. But imagine this, if you can extend, go into a VFD, and then go into a Frody castle play using your field spell and your boss room, the boss fight, then it's insane. I actually did skip over boss room quite a bit. Now, this is an underrated card, just quickly. What it does is, if your opponent activates any card effect in response to your Generaider card effect, so including your field spell, you can discard 1 card, and then the effect comes both players draw 1 card. So it will trigger off the field spell, which is awesome. The one boss monster of the Generaider, boss of the entity, just because if you do need to get anywhere past 4K, this could be really, really cool. And I love the effect of just being able to go, detach, I'm going to take one of your cards from your hand. It's not a necessity, but it's fun, and I really, really enjoy playing it. We've then got the 1 Phantom Fortress Enter Blafnir if you don't want to stun your opponent, you want to rip run for the hand. And then you've got your Earth Slicer just to deal with back row. And again, it's another nice 3100 beta. Then you've got your super body targets. So you've got your Draxtapelio, your Mud Dragon, and your Starving Venom. You can play the triple-headed Predaplant if you wish, but until this format kind of defines itself a little bit more, it's going to be a little bit harder to see how many people are flooding the board with more than 2 darks. Onto the Link monsters. So for Link 2, because we are trying to keep this budget, you've got your 1 Phoenix, your 1 Cerberus, and your 1 Barricade Blocker. Again, it protects your field spell, which is what you need on a deck like this where the field spell is so important. And then you've got your Phoenix and your Cerberus. For the Link 3s, of course, you've got the 1 World Gears Demiurgu. Now this is, again, it's a nice little boss card, and it nukes all cards on the board. So it can be very, very useful going second. It does require 3 level 5 or higher monsters, so it does mean that you're going to be using 3 of your level 9 monsters. But what it can do is, if your opponent has floating monsters, or if your opponent has a lot of back row that they're trying to save for their turn or anything like that, what you can do is you can bring out your 3 level 9s, do the damage that you need to, and then link into this guy just to clear their board off and put them back to square one. Then of course you've got the 1 Unicorn, and then for our Link 4s we've got the 1 Boral Sword to finish the game off, and the 1 Unchained Abomination, just because, like I said, if you absolutely have to, if you've got a Link monster on board already and you use your World Legacy trap card to link during your opponent's turn, you can use the tokens to get into your Unchained Abomination, because it doesn't require effect monsters, it just requires at least a Link monster, and then that allows you to go, if something is destroyed, pop it, in the end phase, pop it, and it just lets you kind of clear your opponent's board off in the end phase, and it's a very, very powerful 3k beta as well on a budget. Like I said, Bomber Dragon is another alternative, and can be very, very useful for the deck should you wish to use and abuse that one as well. So, I hope you like this. Like I said, so the draw cards, your Dark World, you could kill the Dark World Dealings in just to trigger during your opponent's turn, even with Extravagance. But what you'd want to be taking out is you would definitely take out the Avarice, and you'd take out the Kaiju Curie spell, sorry, for your Extravagance if you own them. You would take out the Abomination for the BLS link, and you would also take out one of the VFDs for the IP Masquerena, and possibly Barricade Blocker as well. So they're your options should you have the money to put into the deck and want to go for it as well. You could also put in a Apollo. Anyway, I hope you like this. I hope this gives you a starting base if you want to build this deck. I think it's incredibly fun. I love it to bits. Even before we got the new card, and this new card makes it so much better. And the new cards we get in Eternity Code are going to make this deck even more better. But the fact is, it is a level 9 deck. So you are always going to have that harsh reality of opening up 5 level 9s, pass, and getting OTK'd. Still, regardless, very, very fun. under the budget. I think 50 quid will get you this deck hands down. Maybe a little bit more just if you want to bling it up. But other than that, this is it. This is a Generaider deck. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. And as always, guys, happy dueling.